channel and welcome back to part 2 of the pearl white paint process on my RN1 stream. So what I've done so far, what you've seen in the time lapse, I've essentially pulled the wing mirror off. I've pulled the little side indicator out. I was going to take the door handle out and prep that separately and then put it back on the car to paint, but of the two bolts that hold it on, one of them is very, very hard to get at. It's kind of behind the window track and behind the lock, so it's more hassle than it's worth to get out. So I'm just going to paint that on, well, I was going to paint it on the car anyway, but I'll prep it on the car as well. The mirror is off, as I said already. Now, further to my expectation of this being painted and painted wrong before, I got the trim off along here, and you can see an obvious color difference, but you can also see the tape line all the way along there where it was done before. And also where the mirror goes, now obviously you're not going to be able to feel this, but you can feel that lip there in the difference of color. So that's the original color, which should be the same as this, and it looks to be. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but anyway, you get the idea. So what I've done is I've scuffed the door and the wing with a grey scotch pad. Everywhere I read online said that was plenty, just enough to dull it. It doesn't need to be completely like dulled down, like completely flat, but just enough to dull it. So what I think I'm going to do for now is, because I'm going to be painting the door and the wing in one go, I'm not doing them separate. I'm not taking off the car or taking them off the car, none of that. I'm just going to close up the door again, tape off that door edge there, and just scuff the whole lot again, just once more, just to be on the safe side, to make sure we have a nice key for the new paint to stick to. So that's the next step, and I'll check back in with you when that's done. Alright, back again. So I've given it all one more go, and I think I'm happy enough with that. Like, there's still a I just opened up the door to help me see it as much as it is to show you guys. There's obviously still, you know, a reflection down here, a bit up there, whatever. But compared to if you look at the reflection on the back door and then look at that door, it's definitely dulled enough, I think, for paint. So now is the time. I've cleaned it down, but I'm going to give it one more rub just around the very, very edges. Like, there's like one more just right in along here, same just a little bit there, right on the very, very edge. Need to trim that little bit of tape there for masking, and then I need to prep the door handle as well properly, like in here and, you know, up behind the handle. But other than that, see, the main reason I'm doing it this way is I was hoping not to have to prime the door or prime all of this, because that would just make even more work. But I think we're going to be okay. So let's scuff those edges just once more. Yeah, that looks okay. Just once more, and carry on. We'll be ready for paint then. What feels like 200 years later, I have as much masking as I think I'm going to need. It's probably the most ghetto looking masking job that you could ever do, but I mean, I think we'll be okay. I might put another bit on the second half of the bay there. I might put another bit on the rest of the windscreen. I better put another bit definitely on the windscreen. But look, at least if there's overspray, it'll polish off, or it'll scrape off with my finger, or a plastic blade or something. Even if there's a bit of overspray that I never spot, at least it's the same colour, kind of. So I'm not overly concerned about it at the minute. The only thing I didn't bother doing, I was going to jack up the car, take off the wheel, pull off the inner arch liner and all that kind of stuff, but I just didn't bother. So this will inevitably get paint on it at some point, or like while I'm doing it, but I'm not really too bothered, because at some point I can just take that off. Like the next time I have the wheels off, I'll take that off and just scrub the paint off, or even paint the whole thing black or something. But I think for now I might stick one more bit across the second half of the windscreen. Then we're going to put the heater in front of the panels for a couple of minutes, then put the paint in some warm water. We should be ready to spray. So, nervous. Alright, that's the first coat. Let's give that a few minutes. Okay, update after that. That actually went on really nice. There's no runs. It looks pretty uniform. I'm quite happy with that. It's hard to kind of paint it, you know, kneeling on the ground and scooching around the place, but yeah, it went on pretty good. Now I can just see just there, yeah, you can see the shadow of what must be an old run or something like that, but I mean, that went on lovely. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. That's been sitting there for maybe 10 minutes. I'm going to give it a few minutes just in front of the heater, just to kind of warm it up. Oh, that's squeaky. So we'll get a second coat on. Now I realized a couple of minutes ago that I only have, I don't know how I didn't think of this yesterday, I only have maybe half a can, almost nothing left in those 2 cans of clear. So I rang a local paint place in the city there, and it turns out they don't do it. So I had a quick Google, and there's a place online that have it aerosol ready to go. So I sent my dad on a little mission to try and get me another can of that, because there's no point leaving this in paint and pearl and then clearing it on top of cold paint tomorrow. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just feel like it'd make more sense if it was all done in the one process. But yeah, let's get the second coat on. first coat of pearl down, and I know it's very hard to tell in person, but when it's just base coat before you have any pearl, it looks so white, like really white as that car. Obviously, it's covered now, but you get the idea. And then when you put a bit of pearl on it, it completely changes it, and that's just one coat. So I think I'll be going for 2 coats and a light coat maybe. But anyway, we'll worry about that later. So for now, while that's kind of flashing off, I'm going to prep the little tone eye hook cover. I don't really know what to do with the mirror, to be honest, because it's very hard to tell. It might be worthwhile doing this now. So that's the original paint, and it looks pretty good. Now when it was on the car, obviously, I don't know if it's worthwhile painting the mirror. We might skip the mirror for the time being. Do the little toe hook cover, and then when it's all flashed off and cleared and all that, and the mirror is put back on, if it looks too different, then I could just scuff the top, like the face of the mirror, the bit that's not in shadow, and paint that later. I think we might be okay. We'll forget about the mirror for the time being. Coats deep now into that. I'm pretty pleased. Now there's a lot of orange peel. Well, yeah, there's quite a bit of orange peel in it. Look at the sparkle off the pearl. Class, very cool. So again, look, the color match, that's going to be anybody's guess, I think, but anything is bound to be better than the mismatch that was there, but I guess we'll find out in the coming days. So what I'm going to do, just to give myself a little bit of a safety net, I guess, there's a lot of orange peel, well, all over the whole thing. Maybe that'll dry back a little bit more and flatten out a bit as it dries, I don't know. Again, I'm no paint expert. But what I'm going to do, I'll put the heater in front of it for a little while, like 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm going to do a 4th coat, just to be on the safe side. That'll give me a bit more meat to deal, or to play with, I guess. Play with my meat. When it comes to flattening it and polishing it in a couple of weeks' time. So we're going to do that. We'll do that 4th coat, then we're going to leave it alone for a couple of hours. I'll give it about 2 hours, maybe a bit more, to before I come down and unmask it. So next thing you're going to see is me unmasking the car. Right, a couple of hours later, let's have a look. Okay, it looks good. It is very like speckly or something, I don't know. It's definitely going to need to get buffed and sanded. But overall, is it still wet? No, a touch sticky. No, I think we're okay. Yeah, a little bit sticky. Maybe that was, well, it's not going to flatten, but right, let's pull off this masking. It was going so well. It was going so well. Finish looked good. The masking was peeling nice. The colour's not perfect by any means. I knew it wouldn't be, but I'll show you that in a minute. But what I mean about it going so well, pulling off a bit of tape, and I took fucking paint with it down along the edge of the door there. Now, it's not a lot, but like, still, the last fucking, like, to fall at that last hurdle is just sickening. So it's disappointing. Look, I'll show you the colour match at least. Anyway, for now. For fuck's sake. So here it is. It's not amazing. Now again, this is, like I've said a million times in these videos, under workshop lights and at night time and all that, so it's very hard to tell, but it's definitely better than it was. Like, I'm standing about 6 or 8 foot from the car here and it looks damn near perfect. And then I come over here and it looks good. And from like a different angle, it's going to look different again. So, like there, it looks very, very different. So it's very difficult to tell. As you can see, there's a huge amount of like sparkly texture in it. I'm hoping a lot of that will sand out and then buff out, like with, if I hit it with 2,000 or 2,500 and then buff it. Time will tell, I guess. But that has me so disappointed. Like, that's really... fiddlesticks. Right, that's disappointing. Now I suppose what I'll end up having to do, as I mentioned with some of the other spots in the car, like maybe that little spot just there, and see, like, I'll tidy up and just dab a tiny bit of paint onto that. I'll probably just have to do the same there as well. I'm sure as hell not going, you know, rubbing back that whole door and blending into that door and all that. Just that is so disappointing. Alright, I've just been standing here staring at this for probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes even. Overall, I'm happy. I was going to give myself a 6 or 7 out of 10, but that has just really, really annoyed me. That's made me think 5 out of 10. I don't know why it's so, why there's so much texture on it. It still feels a touch sticky, and if you, am I after putting a mark on that? No. It still feels ever so slightly tacky. I'm sure it'll be fine by the morning. The colour match, it's definitely better than it was. It looks a bit strange now because the mirror is missing and there's a piece of trim along there that's missing as well, so it looks a little bit odd. Overall, I guess I'm happy with the result. I would be much happier only for that bit of paint that came off with the tape. But look, it's not the end of the world. I'll have to repair it the way I talked about before, because as I said already, I'm sure as hell not going to paint that door. So look, the next step, I guess, is just today is what, Wednesday evening. I'm busy for the next couple of days, so realistically it's going to be the guts of a week before that car's even touched again, before I go putting anything back on. And I guess in the future we'll cut and buff that door. So for now, I'll see you in a couple of days. Let's talk about the project. Overall, I'm happy with it. I think it came up pretty good. Much like the Polo, 6 or 7 out of 10 was enough. And I think given that I don't really know what I'm doing, I think I achieved that. So with that in mind, if you're someone that does it for a living or has a lot more experience painting stuff like this, let me know a score in the comments out of 10, how you think I got on, or if you have any tips or tricks or constructive criticism, anything like that, please, by all means, stick it down in the comments there. I'd love to hear it. Cost wise, I spent in total about 200, give or take, between the paint kits that I bought. Came with, say, primer, your base coat, clear, you know, like a sanding pad, masking tape, some gloves, tack rag, alcohol wipe, stuff like that. I bought 2 of those kits, and I bought the extra cans of pearl. So they were 150 something, just call it 150. Then some of the consumables, say like the tape, the dust sheets for masking, gloves, sandpaper, stuff like that. I had all of that, so you don't really count that. I had to buy the extra can of clear, and I think that's about it. So that's 180, something like that. Let's round it up to 200 just to be on the safe side. So the total was done for about 200 and a couple of days worth of time. How does that compare to a body shop? I'm not really sure. It's a long time since I got just 1 or 2 panels painted, but as far as I can remember, it was about 150, maybe 200 per panel. So if you consider we did a door, a front wing, a little toe cover, the whole back, most of the back bumper, the back lip or the front lip, you could call it 3.5 panels, maybe probably rounded up to 4 panels. So nowadays it's probably double that in a body shop. It's probably 300 a panel. So I don't know, maybe 600 to 800 quid's worth of work. I really don't know, but that's quite a saving if you consider you're not looking for perfection. So with that said, let's do I guess a pros and cons. So I was able to do it myself, saves you a little bit of time. You know, it took me about a week, give or take. It took a body shop would probably have it for 2 weeks, maybe even more, I don't know. I was able to do it at my own pace, I suppose, and I saved some money. Most importantly, I learned something. Anything I'd ever painted was always plastic bumpers, you know, lips, mirrors, side skirts, stuff like that. I'd never actually painted anything that was steel. I think maybe that's where the stuff that was done needs so much sanding and buffing, because maybe just the steel doesn't heat and hold heat as quick as the plastic would. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but again, if you know, by all means let me know. So that was a bit of a, I won't say drawback, but it definitely caught me by surprise. good things would be, I guess, it looks really good on camera. I look back through some of the footage while I've been doing this, and it looks really, really good in, you know, like on the video or in a photograph or something like that. It looks really good. It's not terribly bright today, so it's hard to see, but as you would have seen in the few shots here that you're looking at, it looks pretty good. It's not amazing. I think if you didn't really know the car had that work done, just as you were walking by it at a show or passing on the road, I don't think you'd take much notice. Considering it was done in the winter time, an open shed, for want of a better term, and with aerosol cans, I think it came out pretty good. I'm happy with the results. So what I think I'll do, the last step really of the project, I think I'm going to give it about a month, maybe even more, maybe 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, I don't know, and then I'll sand and buff the door and the wing. That'll definitely take the orange peel texture off of it, maybe kind of help to lighten the difference in between them. I don't really know, but that'll be something that I'll do in the future. I'd like to let that cure and really settle for a couple of weeks before I even attempt that, because again, that's something I don't have a lot of experience with. But yeah, so I think that's about it. Thanks for watching. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. The Car Club page is still kind of growing a little bit. I think I have 5 or 6 sets of the stickers and air fresheners left. If you're interested, send me a message there on Instagram to any of the pages. We'll take it from there. So thanks for watching. I will speak to you soon. Peace. Just one little bonus clip. The sun has come out just a few minutes after I finished the video, so let's take a look in the sun. I think it looks really nice. You can definitely see a slight tone difference, but I mean it's very little. Very little. Yeah, I'm pleased with that job. It looks good. Not exactly the same, as I keep saying, but hey, it is. Oh, it looks so different there. Anyway, thanks for watching.